guys, welcome to another Danz Newz Reviewz, the second of BatDanz week, and probably the last of BatDanz week. Honestly, I haven't planned any more, so. There should be more Danz Newz Reviewz in the future, though, so. That's something. Alright, so today I am reviewing Batman Assault on Arkham, or if you read the title this way, Assault on Arkham Batman. Sideways Batman, but Assault on Arkham Batman. Makes me think of Holy Assault on Arkham Batman. I don't know, that's weird. So, Assault on Arkham, a few things up front that you should know. Going into watching this movie, I had very low expectations. I saw a trailer for it, I thought it looked kind of eh. I went on the IMDb, I saw it was co-directed by the guy who did Son of Batman, and you guys know how I felt about Son of Batman. It wasn't the best, it wasn't the worst, but it wasn't just that great in my opinion. And so going into this, I had just watched Son of Batman, and honestly, this was so much better. Like, so much better. All the way around. Funny-wise, character-wise, even animation-wise. I don't know if it was the same exact animation or not, but for some reason I liked it better than the other one. So that's what a good story can do, is it can, you know, I talked about in my last Danz Newz review that I'm kind of, with Batman, I'm kind of married to the Bruce Timm animation style. This was actually like, because the story was so great, I wasn't focusing on the animation. I think that's kind of what it was I was so not into the story for Son of Batman that it was like I was focusing on every little thing that I didn't like about it. And this one was just so much better. First, we could talk about voice acting. Voice acting was really good in this. The main focus, for the most part, was on Deadshot, played by Neil McDonough, or Dunow, or I've never known how to say his name. He's been in so many things that I've seen, and I don't know how to say his name. Neil McDonough. Neil McDonough. Neil McDonough. I know it's an Irish name, that's all I know. He was really great as Deadshot. Kevin Conroy returned as Batman, obviously. This is a movie that's based in like the Arkham, universe that have been in the video games. So it was interesting to see kind of a transition. I should probably actually set up the story. I usually set up the story first, don't I? I should. Yeah, let's do that. So pretty much Batman Assault on Arkham, it takes place in the Batman Arkham universe from the video games. Some of the voice cast returns: Kevin Conroy, Troy Baker as the Joker, Nolan North as Cobblepot or the Penguin, and even Alfred returned. But there were some other, cast people that was, I could speak things. But there were some other characters that were from the games that were voiced by different actors, which was fine. I mean, for the most part, I was like, okay, that's not the right one, that's not the same one, that's not the same one. But for the most part, it was all, didn't distract me too much. So pretty much the story goes, a government agent, a lady named Waller, assembles a crew called the Suicide Squad. Now, the Suicide Squad is this ragtag crew made up of bad guys, essentially, and they're promised, in return of doing these suicide impossible missions, if they complete it, they get some time off their sentence. So they either do that or they die. Pretty much they have implants put into the back of their neck. That's how they are forced to do this. Otherwise, these people would never work together. Most of the time they don't work together, but it works sometimes, and most of the time it doesn't, though. So in this, the Suicide Squad is comprised of a couple bad guys we know and a couple really unknown bad guys that I had never even heard of up to this point. But it was fun getting to know them. So it was comprised of Deadshot, Harley Quinn, King Shark, Black Spider, Captain Boomerang, Killer Frost, and a couple other people who, tag along for a little bit. And inevitably, people are going to die. It was funny seeing how much death was in this. Not funny, but there was a lot of death in this. Like, so many characters died randomly. I was just like, oh, okay. I guess that works. You're kind of a bit bad guy. It's funny, Deadshot actually made a joke about Captain Boomerang, I think, at one point, where he was like, he made the joke that he was a C-list bad guy, which is absolutely true. I've never heard of Captain Boomerang in my life. He was still pretty cool, though. I was surprised that they were able to take these really unknown bad guys and really, like, make me like them. Like, they were so random. Like, they came out of nowhere, but they worked together so wonderfully. I was so surprised how much I enjoyed spending with these bad guys. Now, like, stories told from the perspectives of bad guys isn't something that's new. They've done it before in Batman the Animated Series and other TV shows and stuff like that. Then it's generally a fun take on telling a story in this, Batman universe, because a story not told from Batman's perspective is always welcome. Like, I enjoy stories told from different perspectives. This isn't the Avengers. Like, I mean, even the Avengers don't get along, but like, this is literally people who want to kill each other but have to work together, or else their heads will explode because they have implants in the back of their neck and they're forced to do this mission. So it's interesting to see these bad guys work together, and it's at times hilarious, and most of the time does not work, but somehow still works, so they can kind of reach this objective. So I mean, for the most part, that's the story. I mean, Batman is in there sparingly throughout different things. It's not told from his perspective, like I said. He's around still investigating, trying to figure out what's going on, separately from this mission that the Suicide Squad is doing. Hand gestures. I don't know what that is, but for the most part, it's told from their perspective. Batman pops in every once in a while, and it's pretty good. I like the balance of Batman being in there, because it's based in the Arkham universe, and generally, I mean, all the time, it's always from Batman's perspective. You play as Batman, so I like that. Since this is an animated feature that's a separate story that takes place in the universe, you're kind of not robbed of that experience of being Batman, because Batman's not in it a whole lot. For the most part, it's all told from a bad guy's perspective. So, the fact that it's not interactive, that you aren't Batman, it's kind of cool to see a story told from a separate perspective, if that made any sense. So anyway, back to voice cast. Deadshot was really good. I liked. I thought it was funny. The female Captain Shepard was the voice of Killer Frost in this. And Giancarlo Esposito from Breaking Bad. He played Gus on Breaking Bad. He did the voice of Black Spider. I thought that was really cool. Like, it was a really good voice cast for this movie. I was very surprised, like, how good it was. I think for the most part, I was disappointed with the voice cast of Son of Batman, and for this, I was just like, hey, I recognize that voice. Like I said, there was returning voice cast and some not returning voice cast. Something I was surprised about was I really liked Harley Quinn in this. I really liked the voice acting, and the voice acting was done by an actress named Hynden Walsh. So Hynden Walsh did the voice, Walsh? It's Walsh. Did the voice of Harley Quinn in this. And I was surprised because in Batman Arkham Asylum, Arlene Sorkin, who did the voice of Harley Quinn from the animated series, did the voice. And then from then on, it's been done by Tara Strong, who voiced Timmy Turner from Fairly Odd Parents and has done so much voice acting across the board. And there's a chance that if there's an animated cartoon out there in the last 10 years, Tara Strong was involved somehow doing voices. She's done so many voices all the way across the board. But something that I liked about it was she was pretty close to Sorkin, but still had her own kind of twist to it. It wasn't like crazy different from Sorkin's. It seems like, I mean, Harley Quinn was created for Batman the Animated Series, so there's only been that one voice for Harley, that voice style, Mr. J and all that stuff. So I mean, pretty much anybody who's done it after the fact has pretty much been impersonating Arlene Sorkin. And she was great as Harley Quinn, and she is the voice of Harley Quinn. And when Tara Strong came along and did it for Arkham City, I was kind of taken out of it a little bit because I could hear Timmy Turner a little bit in the voice, and it kind of kept throwing me off. But I thought in this, she was really good. She still had her own, like, not 100% Arlene Sorkin, but at the same time, it didn't take me out of it listening to it because it wasn't a familiar voice. Because sometimes that can happen where if it's a familiar voice, if it's somebody who can't disguise their voice well enough, or it's something, it's kind of tough to get past hearing a character that person has done previously. It's kind of like sometimes when you watch a movie and you're so invested in an actor who's been in one role that it's kind of hard to see past that. I generally try to do that. I'm not 100% not guilty. That was a double negative. Of doing that. Sometimes it's tough to see past one actor in a different role. but voice acting wise, it was kind of tough to get past Tara Strong, and I think Hynden Walsh did a really good job of doing Harley Quinn in this movie. That and Harley had a lot to do. I was very surprised. She had a lot to do, and she had a big part in the story, which I really liked, because Harley Quinn is a really great character, and I think sometimes she can get shafted at points. But it was nice to see her away from the Joker, and not 100%, getting in there with him. That brings me to the Joker. The Joker, I think, was really well used in this. He was not the focus. Something that kind of the Arkham series, video games wise, has always been kind of guilty of in my, from my perspective, is they rely so much on the Joker. The Joker has been the hanging point for every single video game to date. Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Origins, it's all hung on the Joker. And I was happy to see that the Joker was not the main focus of this, bad guy wise. He was in there, but he was used almost as a device. Like, he was pretty much just this separate entity that kind of they ran into that, was in there. He wasn't the focus. That's what I liked about it. The focus was really Deadshot, his mission, the whole Waller thing, Batman, the Riddler. The Riddler was an integral part of this entire thing as well, but once again, not the focus. Same thing as the Joker. He wasn't the focus. He was just a device in the movie to tell the story of this team, kind of going against Batman and going against, their odds, doing the mission, and the whole government conspiracy, Waller, underground Suicide Squad mission thing. So it was all pretty elaborate and really well done. And I'm not sure if it was set up from Arkham Origins, because at the end of Arkham Origins, if you stay after the credits, I think it might have been Waller somebody was coming to recruit Deathstroke to join the Suicide Squad. So I don't know if that was a setup, or if that was a setup for a different game, or what, but it was nice to see some tie-ins there, at least. And also, before I get away from voice acting, Troy Baker was really great as the Joker. I think he's really great, because he once again, it's that kind of thing where it's an impression somewhat of Mark Hamill's Joker, very close to it, but at the same time, it has, his voice is different, and it's good different. Like, he does the Joker, but with a little bit more edge to it, I feel. It's like the Hamill Joker with a bit more edge. Mark Hamill definitely put on more edge as he went with the Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, Arkham Batman. That should be the next one after Arkham Knight, Arkham Batman. Batman, Arkham Batman. That's redundant. Anyway, Mark Hamill was definitely pushing it as he went with Arkham City and Arkham Asylum to a darker side. But this Troy Baker Joker is, I think, a little bit more demented. Like, he's just even more demented than Hamill's Joker, if that's even possible. So yeah, but yeah, overall, I think it fit really well into the Arkham universe. It was cool to see kind of progression of characters. I don't quite know where it plugs in timeline-wise, but it was nice to see similarities, like from the games, or locations from the games, really. The Iceberg Lounge was almost exactly like it was in the game. Some parts of Arkham Asylum they used were almost the exact same kind of set sort of dealies. So it was really cool to see all of that. And also to focus on kind of these lesser characters or smaller characters that usually don't get the highlight. It was really cool to see that. And then, the amount of death, like I had mentioned before. So much death. That's kind of the funny, cool aspect of using kind of smaller characters, is that they're not required exactly. Like, they're easily disposable. That's the whole point, Suicide Squad. But these are characters that aren't, well known, so you can disperse of them as you please. So that added an element of uncertainty. Like, any character could really die at any point. And since, half these characters had implants in their necks that would blow their heads up, that added an element of, like, it's not like where you're watching something like, oh, that guy's gonna make it. Like, usually with Batman, it's like, okay, Batman's gonna live throughout. Like, we know they're not gonna kill Batman. Theoretically, they still always could, but with the Joker, you have a certain certainty to it. With Deadshot, you know he's probably not going to die. And since this is taking place in a universe that already has a pretty strict timeline, you can't kill certain characters unless it falls somewhere on the timeline. Obviously, with the Joker being in this, it kind of falls to a certain point in the timeline. But ultimately, I thought it was done really well. I think they kind of somewhat kind of, I don't know if it wasn't really a twist, but the ending kind of took me out of it with specifically how the Joker played into the ending. I don't know if they were trying to surprise anybody or trying to make you think something was happening that wasn't happening. If you know what I mean, like the fate of certain characters at the end. I was just like, when that happened at the end, I'm trying not to spoil anything, I was just like, I knew it couldn't be, so I was just like, I know there's going to be a line of dialogue coming up soon that's going to explain what happened, and yep, there it is. That's pretty much how the end played out for me. But it was still really good. It left me with, laughing at the end. I always love endings that have like a really good punch to them, and this movie at the end had a pretty good punch to it. I really loved it. So ultimately, I'd highly recommend this one. This one was really good. Compared to Son of Batman, it was so much better. Unfortunately, I couldn't recommend Son of Batman like I could this movie, but it was a really fun time watching it, and really great seeing the characterization of everything with this movie. So, yeah, I am highly recommending it. I've kind of stopped doing ratings. If you didn't catch last time, I didn't do a rating on Son of Batman. I'm going to more so base it on, if you like what you hear, check it out, sort of dealy. So that way I'm not kind of putting a number on something. I'd rather just kind of be like, yeah, check it out, I recommend it. So this one I recommend, 2 thumbs up, go see it. Not that you can go see it, but go get it or rent it or do whatever you can and watch it. So thank you for watching, and yeah, that's it for the review. So that wraps up this Danz Newz Reviewz. Thank you guys for watching, the last Danz Newz Reviewz and kind of giving me a lot of encouragement to continue the series. I will definitely keep in mind, doing this, and I will try to do more reviews in the future. Obviously, non-Batman related or Batman related. Who knows if there are more Batman releases in the future? I'll definitely try to do it. So, got some links over here, like usual. So I have the BatDanz week playlist. You can catch up what you've missed so far if you haven't checked it out, or if you're watching this in the future, like, hey, I'm doing a BatDanz week. I did a BatDanz week once, where I had Batman-related content. Check that out. Link. I don't know if I was pointing at it right. Also, if you like watching my reviews, Liz and I have been, for probably about a year or so, have been doing reviews, mainly on horror movies, but also we've done other things. So check out that link to the playlist. We've done a few different horror movies, some pretty good ones if you want to check out that, see what we thought of some of those movies, because some of them aren't that big, and I would definitely say check out some of them. So yeah, watch that. And then the Danz Newz Reviewz playlist is always down there. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the next Danz Newz Reviewz or the rest of BatDanz week. So bye.